My name is Kelly Burns, and I have been going to Freedom Church since 2017. My husband and I had been trying to have a baby, and we had been unsuccessful. We suffered a miscarriage early on in our attempts to get pregnant, and we had done several fertility treatments that were unsuccessful. We had then decided that we needed to move on to IVF to try and have a baby after all of those treatments were unsuccessful. So I was extremely scared to do IVF. At that point, I realized that this was a lot harder than I ever imagined. And I was scared to death. I feared that I was never going to be a mother and that there was, no one was going to be able to help me. And I prayed, but I just felt like I had prayed my heart out and it was unsuccessful and I just didn't know what to do.
Hi, I'm Torie Boston and I've been at Freedom for 9 years. I met Kelly in our Freedom group a couple years ago. I was just maybe a week into my second round of IVF. I went to my first ultrasound after finding out that I was pregnant. My doctor saying, "Torie, I don't like how this looks, and this probably is going to end in a miscarriage." And I was just like, my brain just couldn't even handle it. Like, I just didn't know what to do.
We were coming up on the anniversary of losing our baby, and so there was just a lot happening. Like, I was just a mess. Everything just was not going the way that I thought. And it occurred to me that my own church that I go to every Sunday was not praying for me because they didn't know me and because they didn't know that I was struggling. They didn't know what I was going through. And I realized that I needed to make an effort to get to know people at church, and I needed to be the one that established relationships, and that I needed to immerse myself in a group. That first night, I was in a very low place, and ironically, one of the girls that I sat next to had also suffered several miscarriages before having one of her children. And so off the bat, I could relate right away to someone that had also shared that experience with me. In addition, that was when I also met Torie, and Torie was literally like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of me in her second IVF process.
So one of the songs that I kind of clung to at the time was "I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again," because I saw God move this huge mountain of infertility and gave me this precious baby. So that was a song that I just kept singing all the time. So when I met Kelly, I heard her story and I just kind of felt sad for her. I just wanted to help her get into a more positive place because I knew from my experience that me being positive had helped so much.
She was like the best cheerleader, like the complete opposite, because I had all this fear bottled up inside of me. Like, the best thing that I could say about my relationship with her through that period of time was that she lifted me up. The week, I think before my egg retrieval, Torie had asked everybody to just come around me and just pray over me and pray that as I was going into this surgery that I just wouldn't have the fear that I had previously. And it was one of those moments where you don't realize how much you just need the love of people around you to lift you up when you can't push yourself anymore. That relationship that you have with God is important, but the community of the people around you that love you through Him are amazing. And the things that He does when you're in community, it's miraculous.
I remember going back to our Freedom group and telling everybody that I was potentially going to be losing my baby, but it hadn't happened yet. And I just remember feeling so like surrounded by these women. They listened, they let me cry, they hugged me, they did all of the things that I needed at that moment. So I went back about a week later for another ultrasound, and oddly enough, there was a heartbeat, which was very confusing to me. My doctor was just like, the heartbeat is there, but it's very low. Your baby's probably not gonna make it, but your baby's fighting to live. It took about 2 weeks from the time that I found out that I was most likely going to miscarry for it to actually happen.
My husband and I had always said we wanted 2 kids. And so we had tried at that point for several years now. We'd done lots of eggs and lots of treatments. And so at this point, it's like, we just would like 2. We would really like 2. 1's great, but if we could get 2. And so I just had this feeling that it was going to be twins. And so we went in for our first ultrasound. And when you go in and you look at the screen, there's like these 2 babies. It is indescribable. I remember just looking at the screen like, there's just no way. How does this even like happen? Like, I just cannot believe this is actually happening.
4 months after my miscarriage, I found out that I was pregnant with Ty. When I would go in for the ultrasound, there was his steady heartbeat. And it always felt like he was like this constant heartbeat when chaos was just happening all around him. And the pregnancy continued to be pretty crazy. I never felt great like I did with Kate. And then at 28 weeks, my water broke. Being in the hospital, I think I prayed more than I had ever prayed in my life that, this baby would survive and thrive. And I was surrounded by multiple women that had preemies and that had babies in the NICU. And it was amazing to have the support in that group to kind of guide me through that time of being without my baby. And then bringing him home in the middle of that group and bringing him to the group after he came home was so exciting. And it's like I had cheerleaders that were cheering me on through this time of just anticipation to bring my baby home.
Being a mom is one of the greatest gifts. God has made me the caretaker of one of his greatest gifts. I mean, it's truly a blessing. I mean, every day that I look at those children, I know that they are a miracle and that they are just something that, I am forever grateful for.
So being in a group with other women that had been through what I was going through at the time impacted me greatly. I'm a woman that has gone through infertility treatments. I'm a woman that has endometriosis. I'm a woman that has had a miscarriage. I'm a woman that's had a NICU baby and a preemie. I'm a woman that's had a healthy baby. And now I'm a woman that has 2 healthy babies. So I feel like I'm in a place where I can relate with so many different women, and I'm able to be there as a support for them, be a person that can say, hey, I've been there, I know how you're feeling, and you can come out of this the other side.
So for any women out there that are on the fence with joining a Freedom group, or you've been going to Freedom and you're that person that's just coming every Sunday, you're here for a reason. And our journey is one of many women within this church that have found friendships and relationships that they never thought were possible. You just need to trust in him, trust his way, and know that He's going to surround you with people that are going to support, love, and grow you in ways you never imagined.